Okay, so we will begin in 1 or 2 minutes, just to let people come in and stuff. Okay, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Thanks for taking time to attend our second pitch night. My name is Alexander Chen, and I am part of the marketing team at Aves Lair. Aves Lair is a second seed stage accelerator and incubator for startups, focusing on AI, blockchain, big data, and analytics. Tonight, we've gathered 5 startups that will be giving a 5-minute pitch, followed a 5-minute feedback and a Q&A from the judges. A winner will be selected at the end. So let's begin by introducing our judges. Judges, please give yourself a short introduction. Anyone can start.
Yeah, I'll go. I'm Matt Kowalczyk. I am one of the partners here at Aves Lair. I'm also the CEO of an incubated company with an NFT platform called Burble. And if that wasn't enough, I'm also the CEO of a software consulting company called Exit 83 Consulting. I'm glad to be a judge tonight, and I'm kind of a startup junkie too, so I'm anxious to see what you all have in store.
Hello, guys. I will do the second. So my name is Chen Li. I'm the managing partner of Aves Lair. And meanwhile, I'm a faculty member at Columbia University working with the electrical engineering department. My major is in AI and blockchain technologies, and now I'm teaching like the graduate level courses on AI and the blockchain technologies at Columbia. And thank you all, and good luck.
Hi, everyone. My name is Gilad Berenstein. I'm based in Seattle. I am an entrepreneur like many of you and now run a small fund called Brook Bay Capital focused on AI investing, and I'm excited to be here.
Hi, everyone. It's Lavina representing the continent of Africa today. Very excited to be here. Equally like the other judges, I'm very much involved in both the worlds of AI and blockchain, together with a bit of psychology and economics, so no pressure. Happy to be here. Looking forward to what you guys have to share.
Great. Thank you to all the judges for being here. And without further ado, let's get pitching started. First up, we have Alan from Humanitrue, a software company that helps nonprofits.
Awesome. Well, thank you, everyone. It's an honor to be pitching today. Like Alex mentioned, my name is Alan Wei. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Humanitrue. We are a post-revenue SaaS and fintech platform serving one of the largest, most overlooked industries out there. We have over 70 clients and 220K in ARR as well. So the nonprofit industry is one of the largest players in the US economy, $500 billion a year in annual revenue and penetration into over 80% of US households. It's incredibly resilient, even through the midst of COVID. Online giving grew 34%, even in the thick of the pandemic. Yet despite these signs of success, it's a sector that needs help. They deal with extremely inefficient sales and marketing or fundraising operations. And here's one stat that really exemplifies that. 8 out of 10 first-time donors will never give again to the same nonprofit. 80% first-time customer churn. And when you look at the tools that they're using to manage their revenues, it's very clear why. Outdated legacy players dominate, providing nonprofits with on-premise, non-integrated solutions, meaning that when COVID hit, many nonprofits saw their technology fail when they needed the support of their donors most. What's more, because of these non-integrated solutions, these nonprofits are left behind in terms of modern day best practices, things like email marketing, things like AI-based prospecting, behavioral modeling. All of these are completely inaccessible to the nonprofit industry due to these legacy players. That's why now, like never before, you're clamoring for modern, purpose-built software that can fundamentally transform not only how they fundraise, but how they engage with their entire audiences. Tools that integrate not just with their donations, but their entire audience of members, volunteers, event attendees, that can consolidate all the ways that they take payments online, meeting their donors not only where they are, but wherever they may be coming from. We provide not just a CRM, but an integrated system that manages their business, serving nonprofits across all types of verticals. In the US alone, there are over 1.5 million nonprofits. But out of those, our sweet spot are nonprofits with the staff and the means to afford a software solutions like ours. Those with annual budgets of between $1 and $50 million a year, approximately 500,000 of those in the United States. Another way of looking at it is by payments. Online payments are here to stay. They're quickly becoming the preferred way for donors to engage with nonprofits, outpacing traditional means like cash or check. They're looking to pace about $150 billion a year by 2026. And that's why our business model, with annual subscription fees to the software charged to nonprofits, on top of transactional fees for anything that we directly process, gives us the means to not only win, but win hard. The stability and upside, we're only just getting started in this $10 billion plus market. We're constantly seeking ways to increase our contract values, upsell our existing client base to not only dominate nonprofit spend in terms of software to become their de facto software provider, but also their gateway to any kind of financial needs that they have, their embedded fintech solution. By focusing on our core thesis of data and payments, we adopted an integration-first approach to data and payments to our product lines, with over 25 plus integrations with tools that nonprofits already use to manage their businesses, operational software like MailChimp, QuickBooks Online, Eventbrite, rather than reinventing the wheel. This means quick user adoption, but still providing an incredible amount of value add, a significant differentiator from our competitors who are seeking to basically rebuild massive ERP-esque solutions from scratch. And my co-founder, Megan, and I, we aren't alone in building this company. We've been able to attract an amazing team of 9 people with decades of experience in not only nonprofit fundraising, but also product development and sales outreach. They see not only the potential of our product, but the market demand as well. The pain points are clear. We just need to get in front of them to show nonprofits what we have. And we've actually gone out to prove nonprofits need what we're selling them. In our short time out to market, we've locked down over 70 paying clients, have processed over $2.5 million in total transaction volume. And finally, we know our product works. On average, nonprofit clients of ours experience a 69% growth in their active donors post-adoption. That's why, with an incredibly sticky product and fast sales cycle, we're confident in our ability to hit 1 million ARR over the next 12 months, building on the traction that we already have. We're already getting started in this next phase, having hit the minimum in our current fundraising round. So come find us if you're interested in learning how we do good in the world and make money at the same time. Thank you very much.
Very nice presentation. That was great. I love your mission of doing well and doing good in the world while doing well. Have you considered partnering with corporations around matching gifts and other things like that? And how you think about other ways of partnering with corporations?
Absolutely. That's a strong part of our integration approach. We do have some integration partners that focus heavily on corporate matching programs, things like Double the Donation, as well as Benevity. We see them as complementary value adds to our ecosystem. We don't want to get into that space where we're serving dual marketplaces of corporations and nonprofits. So for right now, it's more of a go-to-market strategy via channel partnership.
Thank you for the presentation. I have a quick question about the competitor analysis. Could you go back to that slide?
Sure. You mean the competitors?
Yeah, with Salesforce. Yeah, for example, like if you compare your stuff with Salesforce, seems like you do an excellent job because for Salesforce, the last 3 items, they are now able to do that. So could you elaborate this a little bit more?
Absolutely. We come across.
It's about like marketing, or it's about the technical barrier, or whatever. So.
Yep. Salesforce is a horizontally differentiated solution for generic sales and marketing efforts. However, nonprofits, the way that they approach sales and marketing fundraising is fundamentally different than the typical use case that Salesforce supports, meaning that a lot of the reporting, a lot of the operational aspects of how a nonprofit does their fundraising, it's a square peg in a round hole with Salesforce. Although Salesforce offers their product for free, actually for nonprofits, they don't even rank within the top 10 solutions used by nonprofits to manage their fundraising. It's really something that has been built for the for-profit sector that has kind of been treated as an afterthought for nonprofits.
So if a Salesforce want to do the same business as you guys do, you think you have some barrier for them to catch up?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the big benefits and strengths of Salesforce is their flexibility, right? The ability to mix and match your workflow, your fields, your pipeline structures to truly match your business. The problem with nonprofits is they need something that's a little bit more streamlined. And what the defensible moat for us is, over the years, we've been able to build a complex set of behavioral models, a complex set of analytics that are specifically set for nonprofit fundraising. It's not generic sales intelligence like the way that Salesforce would be able to provide. It's specific to how nonprofits fundraise and engage with their supporters.
All right, makes sense. Thank you.
Of course, thank you.
Did I understand correctly? You're doing behavioral analysis of potential customers to come on board? Did I miss this in the deck? Did I miss this in the deck?
No, it's part of our feature set that we're building out for. It's part of our feature set that we're building out for nonprofits. You're exactly right. We're building a lot of behavioral models to help nonprofits predict, where their next donors are going to come from. Nonprofit fundraising is this, amorphous blend of B2B and B2C, right? It's B2C in their annual appeal that you get at the end of the year, but it's also B2B in the way that they approach, major donor, very relationship heavy. Their biggest challenge is identifying who in that middle ground is going to become their next major donor. And I'm really happy that you brought it up because it's actually forming the foundation of our next set of features that's going to drive a huge amount of upsell for us. Sales intelligence, donor intelligence, inform a behavioral model.
Okay, and so all the stuff that you have on the tomorrow part of this is your differentiator versus, besides Blackbaud being old technology and old UI, this is your differentiator between them. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's our moats building forward. Our current moat today revolves around our integration approach to data. In order to actually build any of these type of features, like around behavioral modeling, we needed to ensure and build a cohesive data set. And that was the challenge and the problem that we solved today, right? Blackbaud, these legacy products, extremely fragmented data silos. We're solving that challenge. There's a huge amount of business value by just in and of itself, but we see it as a foundation to truly make ourselves sticky in this market.
So I know you only have a minute or two left. Can you go back to your go-to-market strategy? Because that wasn't, I know you said you're going to have these special things, but I didn't understand how you're doing reach out to new customers.
Yeah, absolutely. Our go-to-market strategy revolves around 3 pillars. First, channel partnerships through all the integration work that we've done. Other integration software providers, payment processors are that are part of our ecosystem. They upsell or they cross-sell our software platforms. The second is many nonprofits are what we call franchised or federated. They're local chapters. Think Habitat for Humanity, First Tier. A big part of our go-to-market is establishing case studies with each one of those before spreading to other chapters or approaching national. And finally, the third is good old inside sales. This is a market that we're able to successfully sell via picking up the phone, doing demos, pricing conversations. Nonprofits are publicly listed. which means lead lists and prospecting for us.
Sorry, Alan. We have ran out of time. That was 10 minutes.
Thank you
so
very much for this opportunity.
Yes. Next up, we have Gaetano from Latitudo 40, which is a decision-making platform based on geospatial data.
Yeah, hello, good evening. Thank you for your time here. I'm Gaetano, I'm the CEO of Latitudo 40. We are a company based in Italy. We start our company from the problem that sustainability in the city is no more an option. So 90% of urban areas in this moment are extremely vulnerable to pollution, floods, and other problems generated by climate change. And this can create a global economic cost of more than $1 trillion USD in 2050. Data and artificial intelligence are two of the possible solutions to mitigate the effect of climate change, but these technologies are really complex and not usable for everyone. For this reason, we created the Latitudo 40, urban data analytic platform that is based on three pillars. One, satellite imagery. Second one, our algorithms of artificial intelligence and geospatial analysis. This platform offers the possibility to make better ESG decisions and deliver better quality of life for citizens. So technologies, we simplify the complexity because this technology exists for a long time, but it's complex to use in mainstream markets. So we have the data inside because we have the connectors with all the satellite main satellite provider. We analyze these images with our artificial intelligence using automation, and we transform the image in dashboard for ESG decision making, and also increase the transparency between the administration and the citizen through citizen portals and KPI reports. Last but not least, we are working on a quality of life index. So this is like the FICO for the environment. So each city can compare with other city and verify the evolution in this path to the sustainability. So four steps in our platform. First, we start from the map the area. After we analyze the trends with our algorithms that start from land use, land classification, identification of urban islands, classification of pollution, and two of main phenomena generated by climate change that are runoff and flooding and displacement. Then with this analysis, we identify risk analysis in the city and offer to our customer the tool for an action plan, and then restart the monitoring to verify the improving in this KPI. We offer 10% automated process. The platform can be used by everyone with no experience in satellite imagery or artificial intelligence, 50 times more faster data analysis, and 90% in reduction of costs of urban monitor. Last but not least, from time zero, our platform has 10 years of data ready to use at a worldwide level because the satellite remote sensing is scalable by design. Here, two use cases we are working in Europe. One is the city of Barcelona. We are working with the city with our technology to reduce by 30% of the urban island surface in the next 12 months. And with the city of Turin, we are working for monitoring the evolution of green areas and the impact for the pollution to reduce it by 20%. Last but not least, this platform can be a tool to analyze the KPI in green bond emission of the city. So investor can assess the KPI of this green investment. Our market size, we are in smart city and ESG market. This market is very huge. At world, there are more than 300,000 cities. We analyze that 50,000 are ready for geospatial project and ESG. Our target is to reach in the next 5 or 6 years 1,500 cities. This can give us a potential revenue of more than 100 million euro in recurring revenues. So our business model. So we are a completely SaaS software, first time for a remote sensing application, completely SaaS. And we use our channel and our sales partner to reach the cities. In this moment, we have partnership with urban planners or consultancy company, and also with smart cities IT system integrator that help us to scale in the market. In the remote sensing market, there are different companies. All these companies are focused on image elaboration. They create beautiful map, beautiful time series. but this is not enough for the customer. They need a step ahead. They need to transform this image in actionable insight that can offer the capability to take a decision in very short time to save people, save assets. So Latitude 40 is moving in this sector, and in the moment they are the only one that is working at urban level. So our traction, we started in 2020. At the moment we have five system integrator and a consultancy company as partner. One is also one of our investors. 4 are in Italy, 1 in Spain, and now we are closing more agreement, 1 in India and 1 in Brazil. At the moment.
Sorry, guys, we ran out of time, but we can start with the Q&As, yeah?
This is my last slide. Okay. So this is our traction, and this is our team, and this is my last slide.
So let me help you out here. My first question, tell me a bit about the team.
Yeah, the team, we are 4 friends. We spent with space experience. I worked in the last 20 years in the space sector, and we are first of all friends. Around this team, there are at the moment 6 software developers and data scientists that support our growth.
Could you tell us a little bit more about your roadmap?
Sorry?
Could you tell us a little bit more about your roadmap in the coming years?
Yeah. So that moment probably is here. At the moment, we are working as sales support. The main channel is our sales partner integrators, but we have an active marketing to create awareness in the cities. So we created every day new leads, new qualified leads, and sometimes are also these cities that support us to interact with system integrators. At the moment, we are working with 6 cities in Europe. Some are very big, like Helsinki, Barcelona. And then we have the plan to add 20 more cities in the next 12 months, directly or via our partners.
So basically the governments of these cities will be your clients, and they're gonna pay the bill for your service.
They are the final users. So we have these 2 approach. One, we use typical our partners that already have contracts with these cities. We have also 2 examples of direct approach to the city using their in-house company that are dedicated to digital process. And this city use our technology because they can better use the public money and have more capabilities to design new projects using public funding or government funding. This is the example of Milan that is entering just today. We had the kickoff meeting. They will use our platform to identify the best place where to plant in the next 3 years, 3 million of new trees.
And then another quick question. So I know that you use like a picture from satellites for these cities, right? And then you use artificial intelligence to do analysis on these photos or pictures or something like that. So other companies, they can do the same thing. I mean, these satellites pictures are open source and everyone can use that, or this is your privilege? You have the only access to them.
Yeah, we have the concept of virtual multi-constellation. So we use image from European Commission Copernicus constellation, but we have also the connection with Planet, Airbus, Capella Space, and we can mix this image for our elaboration. So we have a multi-source approach. We use automatically with our intelligent algorithm the image that we need, and we can cut the image just for the part of the image that we need. It's clear that other companies are doing the same, but we are specializing our algorithms for urban sustainability. That is could also be only urban, but in general sustainability, using a new algorithm that can very quickly identify problem in places, in cities in this case.
So how long is a typical sales cycle?
Sorry, we've run out of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just a very quick answer. The sales cycle is from 2 to 4 months.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Gaetano. That was great. And next up, we have Devesh from SafeTrack. and IoT monitoring traffic flow for engagement in real time.
Hi, Alex, everyone. So I'm going to share my screen.
Yep.
Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Devash. I'm the co-founder and the chief operating officer at SafeTrack, and I'm here to talk about Kaidu, which is a simple, inexpensive IoT solution for monitoring traffic flow and customer engagement in real time. So we all know that there's a lot of customer data available in e-commerce, but the same is not true for brick and mortar. A lot of the retailers rely on point of sales data to understand the customers. Some of the high-end retailers invest in expensive hardware like cameras to capture customer data. So we wanted to change that and level the playing field. So we came up with Kaidu, which is a plug-and-play inexpensive sensors. All you need is a power outlet. You just plug them in and configure them through a smartphone, and they're good to go. Now, how does the technology work? So once the scanners are plugged and configured, they sense wireless signals within a given parameter. Now, most people carry smartphones with them when they walk around in the retail space or in offices. And the smartphones are constantly emitting signals, which the scanners read, and they upload the data into the cloud platform. On the cloud, we perform a series of AI and machine learning algorithms. This is our secret sauce, and we are able to generate insights from the data that is fed into the dashboards, which the customers can access, the clients can access in real time on the go. Now, the landscape is competitive. Like, we're not the only ones doing this. There are a lot of different companies in this space, but we have three distinct advantages against the competition. First is the hardware is super inexpensive, like about $50 versus thousands of dollars that other technologies would charge for the hardware as well as installation. We are privacy compliant because we don't track or we don't capture any customer data, like personal data. And then thirdly, we work in all kinds of environment. The pricing model is super simple. The hardware is fairly inexpensive, like $1.50 for each device. And then the SaaS pricing is, there's an annual as a monthly license, but the cost of the SaaS is less than a coffee a day. We got some really good traction going on in US and Canada. We are working with Moose Knuckle Stores, which is a high-end luxury retailer for winter clothes, similar to like Canada Goose, but in smaller capacity in US and Canada. We are working with Uppercase, which takes care of a lot of pop-up exhibitions in retail. We're also working with companies like Show and Production. They do Van Gogh exhibits across the globe, actually. And then with Mouse Marketing, who are connected with companies like Apple, Disney, and they also do marketing for the Republican National Convention, the RNC. And then lastly, at the enterprise level, we are working with NTT for home office monitoring. We have assembled a fairly experienced team. Giri, who's the CEO of the company, spent about 20 years in Silicon Valley, has worked in AI and machine learning, and used to be a critical player at NVIDIA. I have built successful startups in the past. And then Dennis has a PhD, has about 25 years of experience in the space. We're kind of in the middle of our startup journey. So we already have the technology working. We are doing a few pilots in different industry spaces. We are talking to investors for strategic partnerships and investments. And right now I'm in the middle of moving to the US and expanding the team there. So last year we got a $500,000 grant or a federal contract, which we have basically used to bootstrap the company, hire engineers, and invest in product development and R&D. We are looking for another $1 million seed investment, mainly to improve the technology stack for different use cases, grow the team, like hire a sales team, expand in the US, and obviously have more partnerships and bring more strategic players on board. So we are looking to revolutionize the brick and mortar space, and we want to level the playing field so that the brick and mortar retailers have a lot of advantages that Amazon has in today's world. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. So my first quick question is, what kind of stores and locations are these located in today? And what do they have in common? Basically, what do your customers have in common that leads them to using this product?
So, I mean, right now we are testing the technology in different verticals. So if I just talk about the retail space, these are mainly like high-end retail stores, like with moose knuckles. I mean, they're pretty much retail stores, either in like an outlet mall or in part of a big mall. And they basically have like multiple multiple levels. And pretty much we plug our devices in there. The store owners or operators, they use the data for day-to-day operations, and also sort of some of the feedback goes into store design for future stores.
How are the devices managed and maintained? Like, when do we
I'm
know
sorry?
how are the devices managed? How do we know when one is faulty?
So so the devices, we basically source the devices from China, but we put our own software into it. So there's a log into the devices. So if one of them, so like they basically reboot every day, and then if one of them doesn't connect to the servers for, let's say, 30 minutes or so, then we get a signal, and then we can remotely connect into them and reboot it.
Who manages that? Do you manage that, or does the retailer manage that?
We do the management, but we can also inform the retailer. If, let's say, for example, we're not able to do it remotely, then we inform the retailer to just plug them out and then put them back in.
And what was your go-to-market strategy again? I saw that you had a little bit of traction, but I didn't see how you were getting new customers.
Oh, yeah, so right now we are working, like I said, we're working with three different industries. One is retail, one is in exhibition space, and lastly in enterprise. And so with enterprise, for example, we're working with NTT, which is doing a proof of concept for the offices in Silicon Valley and Tokyo. So that goes through, then they would bring us more customers that NTT works with. Similarly, within exhibition space as well as within retail, we are working with strategic partners. So for example, Uppercase works with probably 100 odd retailers, and they kind of work with brands that are between 5 to 50 retail stores. So they are testing some of our technology for their pop-up as well as some of the smaller brands. And then once we feel that the technology is solid and good to go, then they're going to take us to more retailers. So I mean, to sort of summarize, we are looking at partnership model initially to grow the business and reach a critical mass.
So do you have data that shows that your platform increases sales or increases traffic or provides some benefit other than just data?
Yeah, we have done use cases so far that basically prove that we have increased conversions by about 10%. We obviously don't bring more people to the store because again we don't know who comes in, but we are able to tell store owners whether they're repeat customers coming in every day or like what kind of frequencies customers are coming in and so forth. And then we also provide data or like analytics around product placement, right? So we can say that these are the most popular areas within the retail store. So maybe you should put your most expensive items, or you should direct your store associates in that corner, right? And then some of the non-performing areas, we can say that nobody is going there. So maybe you should probably change the product mix for that area of the store.
And do you have some sort of visual representation, or how do customers get this data?
I mean, for us, the customers are the retail store. Yeah. So we have dashboards that the customers can access on the go, and they have heat maps. They have like zonal analysis. So you can actually zone down into one zone and analyze how the customer are moving from like within the zone, how much time they spent on average, what was the traffic like throughout the day. And then also like the heat maps would tell them how customers are moving through the store. So from like one place to another, or like, for example, how many people came through the door, went to the end of the store and went to the cashier. So we have all that data. We're also working now on integrations. So we're actually trying to integrate our systems with Shopify POS as well as Lightspeed. So then we can bring in forecasting around what the sales look like and so forth.
So I have a quick question. So I saw that you spend 40% of your funds in R&D. Could you elaborate that more? So it's like your AI engineers are working on some R&D topics on this algorithm design or something like that, or you guys just use off-the-shelf algorithms for this data analysis?
Oh,
So
sorry.
maybe,
Sorry, we have ran out of time, but feel free to continue the answer like in the comments.
okay. Sean, is it okay if I just message you the answer?
Yeah. Just you can just write it in the chat. It is fine.
Okay, cool. Okay, thanks, Alex.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah,
Thank you. And next up, we have Freddie from MSOL, a company using data insights to improve urban air quality and noise pollution.
We can't hear you. Freddie, you're muted.
Yeah, beg your pardon. Yeah, sorry about that. Evening all. I'm Freddie Torberg, based here in London, and really excited to be sort of presenting the business. MSOL, in terms of my background, I'm a serial entrepreneur. In my background, smart cities, I've had 2 exits under my belt already, and MSOL is a 5-year-old clean tech business, which is super exciting. And really our focus with MSOL is really specifically around transport emissions and focusing on that supply chain aspect. You may have heard of scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions, and that's principally where we focus on and where we're supporting corporate customers. One good example that we have is we have a major transport delivery company in East London, Dartford, and they have deployed our platform. And since the pandemic, they've got customers asking them, saying, all your delivery activity now, I want it pollution free. I want everything 0 emissions, and I want that all now. So there's a huge expectation from industry of wanting completely 100% clean emissions. And so really the focus that they've come to us on saying, actually, can you help us to evidence and how we can communicate and evidence what we're doing, the control that we have of our missions, and so they can win and contain and keep hold of these individual sort of contracts. And so really the problem that we're addressing is that corporates are under a huge amount of pressure to address their sustainability agenda. We know from shareholders and including their customers that there has to be a significant change. And so we've got an industry that is moving pretty rapidly for looking for innovative new solutions to spend money and actually solve the problems. And the problems are, we've been greenwashing a lot of data, we've been doing a lot of modeling and estimation type work, and now the desire is for more scientific-based evidence to prove what's going on. Our competitors are predominantly providing consultancy-based led solutions, which are sort of quite equipment heavy and very consultatively expensive projects. And I think our corporate customers, they know that the legislation and regulation is coming. And so they are definitely in the market for something more innovative and a solution that just solves the problem for their sustainability agenda. And certainly the focus is, as I mentioned, scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions. And the way we do this is that we measure the short duration spikes of pollution. So for me, anytime there's a pollution spike, we need to figure out what's caused it. And so for us, MSOL is all about the root cause analysis of what's creating that pollution spike. And this could be delivery activity, it could be employees driving into the car park, or it could be even just construction activity. We have a real-time system where we're monitoring the environment and the assets that's moving at the site and providing real-time notifications on that. So the person who's responsible for the pollution, they're part of the solution to fix it. So they own some of that data, and we provide that ability to use their input, their feedback into driving and building mitigations. And so we have a self-learning capability driven by industry who's driving change to keep winning business and driving down pollution reduction. And the beauty about the platform and what we do is a very positive evidence approach. So we have now solutions where we say the number of days we are clean of pollution, and the beauty about the model is a complete repeat and rinse and repeat type model. to create a visualization of how this works. So, vehicles turning up at site, we track the emissions and attribute the emissions to those vehicles. We know a lot about the vehicles that are coming on site. And really the individuals responsible, they get direct real-time notifications that they need to feed their data into. And so what they're doing, what they've done to solve the problem, and that leads to sort of quite a significant data volume that we had to manage control. And so it's a part of the work we're sort of almost doing is almost creating a digital twin for that location and mapping out what that does for pollution, how we can drive it. At the moment, in terms of our traction, we are still trialing quite a lot of pilot-based customers, but the pilot engagement is pretty significant. We have won loads of competitions and awards for cities and the likes. And even just this pipeline, just with those 8 customers represent a scale out of £10.5 million over the next 2 years, which is pretty significant. So it just shows the excitement and the opportunity around the sustainable agenda. The way we run this is a fully managed service. So we own all the equipment and we have all the data scientists, and we're just delivering the data and the evidence for the clients. And we license it based on the size of the site and the number of locations, entry points into that location. The installation piece is a full cost recovery piece. So that gives us the ability to scale and deploy it anywhere in the world. And we're driving it at a sort of pretty hefty, reasonable sort of gross profit. In terms of,
we're going to have to move into Q&As.
Okay.
Each of the customers you have in your pipeline, they're all significant in size, deal size. It feels to me that like getting any closure on any of those deals is going to be challenging. How are you going about closing some of these massive deals?
Well, at the moment is, for example, the top one, HS2, which is a significant infrastructure program. We're doing a discovery project with HS2, and part of the team there is once the technology has been matured and validated, they're going to write it into the contracts for all the deployments for all the new sites. And so the plan for those guys is that. The other contractors, for example, Mace, ISG, these are prime contractors. What's happening, like I mentioned earlier, customers now are asking for zero emissions and clean evidence. And so all these big contractors bidding for new projects are asking us, can we be part of their bidding solution to evidence in this? So we're actually getting a lot of traction from contractors who are looking to win construction projects across certainly across Europe. And the NHS, which is the healthcare system in the UK, they have written quite significant investment plans already for clean air at hospitals, and so they've already got budget allocated. So most of the projects, the budget is there, and is about maturing the technology and getting the rollout going.
Tell us a little bit about the competition. You mentioned that some people are doing this on a consultancy basis. Tell us what else is out there.
Yeah, there's a company. Obviously, you've got tons of manufacturers deploying air quality sensors and different sensors across the spectrum of what data that they want to collect. But again, and then the consultancies are maybe the biggest. The environmental consultancies are maybe the biggest sort of risk, not risk, but like opportunity. So the environmental air quality monitoring guys are sort of quite spread in terms of they're selling their boxes and have different user cases. So our narrow use case is pretty good. So our competition is definitely coming, and there's opportunities most probably around within the construction sector or the IT sector. But one of the slides that we started, I didn't finish, is in the 5 years that we've started to do this work, we've already secured their patent, and we're in the process of delivering 3 additional patent applications in the next sort of 6 months. So we're securing quite a bit of our IP around all the stuff that we're learning through these pilots.
And is there any reason this would work better in Europe versus the US or another part of the world, whether it's regulatory or technology based?
I think, certainly we've been invited to go and deploy our technology in other parts of Northern Europe where the standards are already regulated. And I think as the regulation comes and contractors have to do things, then that's an open door for us. So we're definitely looking at markets where the regulation is tighter. And that's why we're in a rush to build the platform, get that working.
We have 1 more minute left for any short questions.
Who did you originally envisage as your end consumer when you initially built the product?
Yeah, well, my background is I've been around smart cities agenda quite a bit. So the local authority own the air quality problem, but fundamentally, so we work closely with local authorities to build an enterprise-led solution that the corporates will buy. So a corporate has to disclose their emissions publicly. And so really the corporate will be the end consumer, the end purchaser for this product, because that's their sort of obligation. So their supply chain, goods coming in, goods going out, they have to evidence the impact of those emissions, and they'll be the end customer for us. But we're supported with various local authorities and making sure that technology meets their obligations. So when local authorities put in planning regulations, they can drive this they know this technology exists and they can drive those standards.
Thank you, Freddie.
Thank you.
And next up, we have Manindra from Tokenizer, a blockchain tokenization platform.
Everyone, okay, let me share my screen. Yeah. Okay, you see my screen, okay?
Yes, it's working fine.
All right. Well, first of all, thanks very much for inviting us to present. So I'm Manindra, founder CEO for Tokenizer. So we'll take you through what we are building. Essentially, what Tokenizer is a marketplace for alternative assets on blockchain. So if I break it down further, alternative assets essentially represent assets such as real estate, VC funds, private equity funds, and all these various assets. And you could think of almost everything which is not public stock or public bonds. And it's a huge market, roughly 20% of global assets. Currently, in order to operate in that, like it involves several layers of banks and lawyers and accountants, because A, the assets are much bigger, and B, because they are either in digital or paper form, both of which enables infinite number of copies. And so it's a perfect solution for blockchain which sort of doesn't allow for infinite copies, and you can always authenticate, which is the main version. So a perfect solution to this problem. And so now we are in the process of putting these alternative assets on blockchain and sort of like re-engineer and reimagine how this marketplace and the process can look like. So key problems that we face is that both for investors' point of view and the issuer's point of view, the investor point of view, less transparency and less liquidity. They cannot easily sell them if they want to. And from the issuer's point of view, they cannot raise money faster. They have to go through layers of broker dealers. And also it's very difficult to be compliant every time because they have to, every jurisdiction has its own rules. So that's what we have tried to solve. Okay, it's going too many slides at one time. Okay, so in our case, so we have built a platform for bringing these assets onto the blockchain, a primary and secondary marketplace, and then an Oracle. So it still involves some amount of documentation and regulatory procedures to be done to be regulatory compliant. So for we use Oracle and we connect fund admin and accountants still, but at a much different way. Right. So we have been at this for almost a year. We've been live. We built our MVP in the last 3 months. We have around just 10 projects in pipeline, 10 assets. Each of them are between $5 to $10 million worth. We have tokenized around $100 million worth of assets. And even from our pre-launch, is 500 plus accredited investors join the platform. We are also regulated in the US right now, and we are going for more regulation, because the platform, the front end has to be regulated, and the back end is what we are building on smart contract to do it at exponentially low cost base. Okay. Which enables us a one-stop shop, and the other very interesting thing what we do is we enable both traditional. You can still do a traditional issue while we can do an SPV with a tokenized format. So right now in the full market, if someone has if someone don't want to go full on the tokenization for a issuer, they can do both at the same time. So you get sort of the best of the both worlds. My slides are not moving in the order I want them to, because, okay. Sorry about this. Again, in terms of market size, I already said it's pretty big, but we are looking at private equity and funds that we're focusing on. But obviously, like public and private securities are a very massive place, and we have a lot of leads for those. We have been at this for last few months. We have an MVP in place, and I'm happy to demo anyone who's interested in this. We have a team that combines all of the best of the blockchain technology, as well as coming from previous finance backgrounds. So we are solving this with all the practical considerations, and we are working in several pilots with several customers. So we build a platform properly with solving both the legal reasons in addition to obviously the technological reasons. So that's what we are building. We're also raising around $10 million round.
We ran out of time, and we have to continue with the Q&A.
Sure, yeah. And so for some reason I'm not able. My slides were not moving, but yeah. Okay, yeah. Happy to answer any questions.
So my first question is, where did the idea come from? Why are you starting this business?
Yeah. So previous to this, so I had other startup before, and I always found the fundraising process and the venture capital process sort of interesting and difficult at the same time. So when I tried to understand that more and more, I found the issues, and also at the same time I was studying blockchain. So we just it's opportunistic. So I met the two. So I think both problem solution meet, and talk with various friends in finance industry. So brought them on board to solve this.
So I have a question. So what's your technical advantage with other DeFi projects? Because there's many of them outside there, and they can do similar things. I mean, it's all about smart contracts.
Sure. I mean, there are a lot of them, such as at least in the US, although they create the tokens, they don't have the regulatory codes are not really built into the smart contract level. So they are sort of doing that by involving a TA, a broker dealer layer, but we are doing it all on chain. So currently on Ethereum, it's all built in house. And when we are able to basically do both a multi-jurisdiction approach, where the tokens can operate in certain way with one jurisdictions, while when you change the jurisdiction, with our unique way of building the aggregator and the connection to front end, it can go to completely different rules across a different jurisdiction.
Yeah, the regulations and jurisdictions is a big thing if you want your business to be successful in the future.
Yeah,
that's the most difficult thing. Yeah, and you guys use it on Ethereum, and but how you guys deal with the transaction fees? Because transaction fees there is pretty high.
Yeah, so currently we are on Ethereum, so everything is the ERC20 to maximize the compatibility. In parallel, we are building our own chain. So within our chain, a lot of the technological advantages will come in, because there would be a global identity, and a few other things would be standard on the chain. And so in Ethereum, these are workarounds. So there is only so much we can do, but we have still managed to do it, although it's in higher fees. But in our own chain, you have global identity built in. You can send private payments as well as public, same like Swift. And all of that basically enables us to build a much secure blockchain in the future at way lower fees, because we are building it ground up for the finance industry, and integrating all the information and the knowledge that we have acquired while building these tokens with workarounds in Ethereum.
You already issued your tokens?
So we are the first IEO is happening next month in X markets, and
Next
then
month.
next.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so we have a pre-sale going on for validators and strategic investors. Yeah, if you're interested, please let me know. My email is here.
All right. Thank you.
We have 1 more minute left for one last question. Okay, then we will be moving on.
Okay, well, thanks very much once again.
Thank you, Manindra. Okay. So thank you everyone for pitching. This event is to provide an avenue to share our network of global industry to the startups that join us. So contestants, feel free to drop your contact info in the chat box for the audience members to reach out to you with. I also want to remind the contestants that while we are waiting for the judges to finish grading, feel free to answer to any of the Q&A questions, Q&As, feedbacks, in the comments from our audience members too. Okay, to end this event, before we announce the winner, I just want to thank all the contestants for the incredible pitches, the judges for such an exciting night, and to stay connected with the Aves Lair community, we will be including a few links in the chat. So if you want to connect with us in the future, you can just find us through these links. And our pitch night will be held on the 17th of November, and the deadlines will be on the 10th of November. And the signups are already out, so feel free to sign up or connect with us via these links that will be sending us in the chat. That will be sending you in the chat. And congratulations to Humani Truth, Alan. I'd like to highlight again that the prizes for the winner includes exposure to the Aves Lair social media channels, including Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And you guys will be included in our investor-only newsletter, as well as lastly, getting into a fast-tracked interview with Aves Lair's incubator, accelerator, or VC program in the winter.
Awesome. Thank you very much. It's been an honor.
Thank you. Are there any last words from the judges?
I want to thank you all for spending the time to pitch. As a serial entrepreneur myself, I know that it takes a lot of courage to get in front of people that you don't know and tell them about your baby and let people judge whether your baby is ugly or not. So I feel your pain and I understand how hard this is for you, and I appreciate the time and the effort that you put forward.
Ditto. Completely agree with everything Matt said. This was an incredible group of companies, and best of luck to all of you.
Bueller? Anyone?
Yeah, so congratulations and thank you everyone for your time and your pitch. Very, very sound and a wonderful experience for all the judges here. And so we do leave also some comments to each of the team, and we hope that these comments will be helpful for your adventure down the road. And thank you everyone, and I wish we could stay in touch. And yeah, we really like your project and want to be grow up with all of you guys. Thank you.
Again, thank you so much, contestants. Great job. And I will be sending you the comments as well as the grades via an email and a PDF. And you all are free to go. Thank you so much for attending our Aves Lair Pitch Night event.
One note, hey, judges,
Oh.
comments that you've left on the scorecard actually go to the founders themselves. So you might want to take a minute. Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.